The Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kincaid is back with a friend of the show who was one of my guests at the start of my journey discovering new artists. Welcome to the show, Austin. I'm so happy to see you and meet you in person. How are you?
In person, I know. It's great.
Yes.
It's way better than over the computer.
Way better. I appreciate that time we talked. And, you know, when I first met you in our interview, I was telling you I discovered you when you did the cover.
Yep.
Of Billie Eilish cover. And I was like, who is this?
Right.
And I had to find you. And we had such a great dialogue. And I've been watching you grow and watching you. Thank God we have social media.
That's what I'm saying.
How has life been since we've talked in all this music? Because you keep it popping on the gram and TikTok with your, I'm gonna call them the mashes. Like, what if this song is this?
Yeah.
What made you start doing that?
I think just getting used to social media and getting acclimated to it.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, you know, it's kind of a game, but it's like, how can we make that fun?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was my version of like making it fun for myself. Like, rather than, obviously as an artist, you're making songs and you want people to listen to it, but it's like the whole promoting part of it can sometimes feel like gimmicky or whatever. And even sometimes, you know, you just got to post just to be seen out there. There's so much competition. But I was in a rut for a little bit, probably like a year, honestly. It was like a social media rut where I was like, you know, just like everyone's like, I wish I could delete all of this stuff right now. Right. Can't really, it's part of the job. But yeah, just like having fun with it again. You know, I've always had strong love for R&B. So, you know, it's just fun to reimagine it.
Yeah.
And, you know, just it's kind of a challenge too.
I love the challenges that you've been doing now, but what I really am enjoying is the making. I feel like you took us on the journey with How Soon.
Yeah.
And you teased it. That was great. That was a great campaign.
I appreciate it.
It was natural. And now you have a remix with Alex Vaughn.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you started that song.
So yeah, I think this was back in like March of 2022.
Yeah.
I wrote it with a good friend of mine, now a good friend, Vaughn Wade, super dope songwriter. And it was our first time ever linking up. My A&R Erica was just like, yo, I had this session for you tonight. I'm gonna ever do night sessions. She was like, but I think this would be really dope. He's in here from Atlanta. Got in with him and was just like, you know, let's just write over this guitar thing that I had. And yeah, I didn't expect it to amount to much, but I think those are like the best sessions. And I had been recently going through a breakup from like 3-year relationship. And yeah, I guess I just like hadn't written about it yet. And that was like when it all like poured out. I was dealing with so much stuff. I didn't really know how to process everything. Like I just felt so lost and confused and didn't know. I mean, the whole song's about moving on from one person to the next and feeling like, you know, is it too soon to do that? Or like considering your ex's feelings and all that. And because me and my ex broke up on like what I would consider pretty solid terms. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to go out and like, you know, get right to the business because that's why we broke up in the first place. It's like I just had so much going on and like our lives were going in 2 different directions that, you know, it just felt like I just needed to be by myself for a little bit. And, you know, that you feel that way for a little bit and then you get to the point where it's like that is kind of out the window and you're kind of becoming more of yourself again. And yeah, you can't really like, fate has a funny way. Like some people walk into your lives and who are you to like get in the way of that? With whatever rules there are in terms of moving on, which there are none. And I'm still like getting used to that, even after the last like year and a half. So yeah.
Therapeutic song?
Very. Like probably my most therapeutic song for myself. I remember, funny enough, my manager at the time was going through a very similar thing. So he would send me the song after we made it and be like, this is the one. Like, we got to do this song. Like, this is the one. We got to have it. Right. And I was like, shoot, you ain't got to tell me. Like, that's the one for me, too.
I like it with just you, but I also love that you added Alex Vaughn, who's a friend of the show, who I love. How did you guys connect, and how did you think you would fit on this song?
Yeah, so I had really been into her previous project before I know she had So Be It on that one.
The Hurt Book. Yeah.
I mean, she can sing.
Absolutely.
She's singing. When I met her in the studio, because that's the first time we met was in the studio.
Okay.
My A&R was like, hey, how do you feel about having Alex Vaughn on the remix? Because I knew I wanted to do a remix, and I knew I wanted to be from the female perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, one, I know she's gonna sing, like that's a given,
mm-hmm.
and also I know she's very involved in the writing process, which I love a lot. Like, just considering how much of my heart I put into that song, I wanted to see somebody come in, like, you know, do the same. And I also told Alex after we got done with the song, I was like, going into this, I wanted a remix that was better than the original.
Yeah.
And like, you gave me that, which I'm very thankful for.
Killed it. I love when I saw that it's coming soon. I was like, hell yeah, that's going to be amazing. So I'm hoping, it's been a minute since you put out a project.
Yeah.
How soon is going on this new project, and when is the new project coming?
July.
Wow.
Yeah, it's soon.
Okay. Very soon. How soon?
How soon? Exactly. No, it's very soon. And it's like, you know, in my brain, it's a little overdue. I'm sure for like my fans and stuff, it's very overdue. But everything was delayed and pushed back for a reason. You know, it's going to come out the way it needs to come out. Nothing rushed. Everything is going to be full of intent, and, you know, all the visuals dialed in, videos. It's just it's very cool. It's like my first project I've ever done from top to bottom with a label before. So, you know, everyone's got their hands in. You got to trust in ways you've never trusted before. Yeah. And it's just a whole different process, which is, you know, some people would look at it as a setback, you know, removing the music back, but it's just making everything better.
I feel like when you give yourself time to live, you pour more into the project.
Absolutely.
Tell me what's on this album. What can we look for? We talk about love gone, relationships.
Yeah.
But what else are you talking about?
I got some good memories on there from after me and my ex had split a year and a half ago. I dipped off to New York with some buddies of mine, and I'm definitely not a partier by any means, but like, it just felt like this different side of me came out whenever I was in New York. And it was like 3 days of just like nonstop chaos. Like 6 p.m. we're already going out. It's just not like me at all. And I have some songs on there that like I really just wanted to represent that moment, because this whole project is basically the aftermath of, you know, how to get over someone and how to, you know, move on from that in whatever way you deem healthy. Obviously, everyone has different journeys post breakup, but I just want to show all representations of it. There's songs that are very, you know, analytical, very, I guess, hindsight is 2020. So you're looking back at it being like, you know, you could have done this better, or also like, hey, I could have done this better. Like, we both had our issues. There's songs on there that are more like, hey, I'm just having a good time. Some like up-tempo stuff
we need that
for the summer or the club.
We outside now, so we need that.
Outside. That is what my Aunt Erica, she is just always like, we outside. I'm like, and she had such a big hand in like pushing me on some of these songs and be like, yo, this is like the one, you need to trust me. And now those are my favorite songs.
That's
like,
good.
Truly, it's a beautiful thing.
And you talk about your very soulful R&B. For people who are getting to learn and know more about Austin, who are some of your musical influences, like when you started in the game? Yeah. And have you added any more new musical influences as you have grown in the industry?
I mean, I didn't really like grow up initially on R&B music. It was a lot more... maybe like blues was my first introduction to like what R&B had become for me. Grew up on a lot of rock music and country music, but as I like developed my own taste in high school, I got into Music Soul Child, D'Angelo, Brandy, Destiny's Child.
The good stuff.
The good stuff, the real good stuff. Just a lot of that stuff, like Joe too. All that stuff was just so interesting to me because like the production, I was producing at the time in high school, and I just felt like a lot of that stuff it was so funny how far it had come, like modern R&B to like, you know, that 90s, 2000s and all those like the production in those songs were like really insane to me, and that's what challenged me to want to like recreate that stuff, the production. And then I got into songwriting, started studying more of like the modern R&B stuff. Really big fan of like Bryson Tiller, Lucky Day, Daniel Caesar,
the good
Ty
stuff.
Dolla $ign, the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Like musicians, like true musicians. Like that's probably my favorite thing. It doesn't matter what genre it is, truly.
Right.
It just so happens that R&B music has, in my opinion, most of the really good musicians.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think now I would say I've really been into like Ombre. You know Ombre?
Yes, absolutely.
She's incredible.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just absolutely insane. I know she just did like a Tiny Desk and put out a project that I'm just like, it's on repeat.
I see you having a Tiny Desk.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think we need to claim that and put it out there. As an artist with your new project, what's your stamp? What do you want the world and your fans to like really embrace with you with the new music and just you as an artist as a whole?
Yeah, I've always said this, and I think I still stand by it even more now. It's like when I listen to music, I'm not super tapped into the lyrics on stuff. I'm very much just like overall sound and how it makes me feel.
Mm-hmm.
If I like a song enough, then I'll go back and listen to the lyrics and learn and stuff. But for me, I've always like listened to music. Whatever music makes me feel cool or like gives me that confidence or give me that energy boost. And it doesn't mean that song has to be like up tempo in your face. It's just anything that makes you feel like you're in your bag.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what I'm trying to get across and have been trying to get across for like the last 3 years, because I was always so introverted in high school, middle school, whenever I moved around a lot as a kid. And it was always music that like turned me into what I knew was like my true self.
Yeah.
It could get me out of that shell. And I feel like now more than ever, like high schoolers, middle schoolers, like even full blown adults, like need that. Sometimes they need a little something to get them out of their shell, have a good time. And like I said, now I've got some stuff for like, you know, outdoors for the club and stuff. It's cool. I'm like seeing myself unfold a little bit more.
I love it. And you know, the first thing that I looked at, I was like, is his hair going to be long? Is it going to be colored? Having fun about that. You were talking about being in New York. I had the pleasure of seeing you perform in New York.
Yeah.
And I was such in awe because people were just singing your songs that you put out word for word. When you did the Happy Ever After, like I was excited because that's how I got introduced to you.
Yeah.
How do you feel when people are singing and connecting with you musically?
I mean, it's definitely like, it's like the closest I've gotten to like Nirvana, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really insane. Like these lyrics that a lot of these songs I wrote in my parents' house, like back in Florida. And yeah, to me, those are just like little blips in time where I'm just like, oh, I wrote this lyric. Or like, but to someone else, it could mean the world to them, or it like shapes the way they look at certain things. And for them to like reciprocate that and like show how much it means to them.
Sold out.
It's really insane. And New York I went to New York in February of last year, had an amazing time. It was like my first time there pretty much. And then did the show in May. And it was like so insane. I know the venue is like pretty iconic. So it was cool to just like be there and get back on the like the live show horse too. Cause I just want to do shows. Like
absolutely.
It's very, very fun.
Before I let you go, I see the journey big and long for you. What has been your goosebump moment to date?
That's a good question. I would say, honestly, anytime I'm like outside, which is not often, I'm getting better about it. And like people come up to me and are like, yo, you've inspired me to like write music.
Yeah.
Or even I get DMs from people back home that I went to high school with. They're like, we never spoke, but they'd be like, you've inspired me to like want to break out of my shell and like get into the music thing and be vulnerable with that because it's very vulnerable. Those moments, it's hard for me to like pinpoint a specific one because they're all totally different. But yeah, just like inspiring other people to like get out of it. Music's so accessible right now and has been for a little bit, but just inspiring people that have wanted to do it and they see someone that they're familiar with do it it's like, yeah, there's no other feeling like it.
Because, and I was going to say, what advice would you give someone? Because this journey, sometimes you are tested with your patience. And I would what would you give advice to someone maybe who is at that point, I want to give up maybe?
Yeah. I was definitely at that point.
Yeah.
I was at that point before I did the Billie Eilish thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, I plateaued for like 3 years, what it felt like statistically plateaued. We were obviously developing the project and stuff, but yeah, I think just like trust your gut.
Yeah.
Truly, like, especially if you've got a little traction going, even if you don't, just like, don't compromise yourself to get bigger numbers. Just believe that what you're doing will get you there eventually. It takes a little bit of luck, but you got to put yourself in the position to be lucky, you know? So yeah, I think just staying true to who you are.
Yeah.
And yeah, just persevering.
I love
Everyone's
it.
journey is different. Everyone's journey is different. Just
Agreed.
there's people out there that are like 16 that are breaking right now. And it's just like, you know, I'm 24. I could look at that and be like, well, that's insane. When I was 16, I was like stuck in my bedroom, like practicing drums or something. And yeah, everybody's journey is different. Who
Absolutely.
knows? Some people find success in their 40s, 50s, especially now. I mean, the internet's insane.
Absolutely. I want to congratulate you on your new project. It will definitely be bumping in all my phones, my stereos, or whatever.
Love that.
Keep on doing what you're doing. We love you. I'm looking forward to seeing you perform again. And how can people tap in to know where you are, where you're gonna be in performing?
Yeah, so just all my socials, ASTN Music.
Yeah.
That's me. And if there's a show going on, I'm promoting it. Trust me.
Absolutely. Please support Austin. It's Hybrid Soul, your destination for R&B discovery. Today, my guest is Austin. Until next time.